Welcome to RV and Travel Adventures. Hope you're doing fantastic wherever you're at. This is going to be an opinion piece. This is going to be a commentary, so you can immediately turn this off and say, hey, I got better things to do. Jesus is not talking about RVs or doing an RV review or going camping today. He's essentially giving his opinion and talking about a subject that might not be interested in. So you can just say, click, move on, and watch somebody else sell RVs and stuff like that. So I would like to thank you, first of all, if you continue to watch. Thank you very much. I greatly appreciate it. This is a commentary piece, and again, my opinion. As you very well know, if you've been a fan of this channel for a long time, for the last 5 years or so, you know that I'm a big fan of electric vehicles, be they in the form of cars, trucks, motorcycle, bicycles, whatever, scooters. I'm a big fan of electric vehicles. And I'm also a big fan and promoter, and I say, hey, we should go more aggressively in electrifying America and in getting charging stations everywhere, in national parks and state parks and county parks. Make them as ubiquitous as gasoline stations. So why would I say, hey, Jesus, why are you a big fan of EVs? Essentially because of global warming. I believe global warming is an existential threat to humans and our lifestyle, and it's causing irreversible damage to our planet. Some of you may say, hey, I got better things to worry about. I got to go to work. I got 2-3 jobs. I got things to do. I don't want to worry my head about all this heady stuff about global warming. You keep that to yourself, Jesus. So I'm a big fan of, again, EVs, electrification, of our infrastructure, making sure that we have more charging stations. So one of the shows I like to watch on the old tube is TransportEvolved. It's out of Oregon. It's essentially some British gals moved to Oregon, and they started this channel, and they talk about the electrification of our roads, talk about cars. They do reviews, etc., etc., etc. They talk about the latest news from Tesla, Rivian, etc., etc. They have an excellent program, and it's very well produced to a great extent. And today I watched them, and they were the lady in charge, the redhead. She says she's what do you call it? Transgender. I'm not an expert on transgender people, but I know she's a nice person and is quite brilliant in regards to EVs, and understands the infrastructure and the manufacturing of EVs, and again is an expert at presenting this information to us, regular folks out in the community. So I listen to her and I go, oh yeah, that's what's going on with Tesla. Oh yeah, that's what's going on with Rivian. Oh yeah, that's what's going on with that motorcycle company that's trying to electrify, etc., etc. So I watch her, and she does, again, an excellent job. Today she gave her opinion, which she often does. She does give her opinion on the LGBTQ transgender community, and said, she's been getting a lot of flack. She's been getting a lot of harassment in the comments section of her videos, essentially saying, some negative stuff about her and her employees, etc., etc., which isn't good. I often, not often, but once in a while, I get a person saying, something negative to me. But I got a very thick skin. Growing up a person of color in Silicon Valley and traveling around the United States, I sort of developed a thicker skin, again. So, and also my personality is such, and I compare myself to my wife. My wife is very agreeable, loves people, always thinks the best thing. Even if a person says something negative, she says, this is something good out of the conversation. She always thinks the best of people. That compares to me, I'm more cynical. I'm going, that person's a total. And, if somebody says something to me, I'm going to say something back. While my wife would say, let's just walk away and just ignore them. Me, I'm a bit more of a confrontational individual. And I've developed that since the 60s, 70s, and 80s, participating in Chicano, quote unquote, Chicano, Hispanic, you might call it Mexican American, politics. I was very much involved in what's called back then in the 60s and 70s, the Chicano movement, El Movimiento Chicano. Basically, the politics of the time, United Farm Workers, union rights, getting more Latinos, Chicanos, into university and better jobs and, basically fighting against discrimination. The folks at TransportEvolved, what differentiates them in the marketplace is the fact that they're overtly LGBTQ, transgender, and they talk about that stuff, extensively. What I have learned over the years, I talk about that stuff once in a great while. I'll interject my politics and interject my feelings about certain things. But I'm not, spending, 10, 20% of my time talking about Chicanismo, my Chicano politics, etc., etc. That's why I have 4 channels. 4 channels. I have 4 channels. Hey, all of you, I have 4 channels. My first channel is Jesus Manuel Mena Garza, which has some, I put my political stuff, like my wife. She was recently in San Antonio signing books, her latest book, and giving a presentation at a gallery and stuff like that. And also when I interview some of my friends that are lefties. Yes, I have friends that are lefties. And I do interviews with them and I put them on that channel. Then I have another channel, pretty goofy channel. It's called My Normal Life ? And on there, I do some radical stuff. I do lawnmower reviews. I do gardening reviews. I show my plants and stuff in my garden. So that's wild stuff, huh? Then I have my photography and video site, Jesus Manuel Mena Garza Photography, Video and Audio. It's okay. It used to be super, super, super popular because I did a lot of my RVing videos. I stuck them on there because I did start, all my RVing videos, even though it's supposed to be a photography, video, and audio channel, I put a lot of RVing videos on it. And it became super popular because people like RVing videos. So I said, hey, let's just start another channel, RVTA, this channel, RV and Travel Adventures. On this channel, I put RVing reviews, my camping adventures, and once in a while I go travel via airplane. Zoom! And like recently I came back from Puebla, Mexico. Those videos aren't very popular. My Puebla video, I spent 17 days there in producing this video and I get this much viewership. But I do something on an RV and then all of a sudden, wow, everybody goes, wow, that's interesting, Jesus. We love RVing videos. So I know my audience on this channel loves RVing reviews. In a few days, I'll be going to the Funtown RV event at AT&T Stadium and, doing some reviews, walkthroughs, simple stuff. It doesn't take much time to do that stuff. And I know I'm going to get some good viewership. Not great viewership. I know that some people have some channels that do a lot of RV reviews, and they're super popular, super popular, and they derive 99% of their income from these channels. I understand totally. That's fantastic. You're selling and pimping, RVs. That's your job. Every RV to you seems to be perfect, absolutely fabulous. I don't have to be that way. I can say that RV is not as nice as I had hoped. Or this RV is, wow, I want that one. I want that RV. So I derive 99% of my income from my investments, my stocks, my other checks that I get, my pension, and I got all this money coming in, and of course my wife's still gainfully employed for another 2 years. 2 years. She's going to be gainfully employed as a professor, and that, of course, is a good job, and she really enjoys her job. She doesn't really want to leave the job, but I'm trying to push her, say, let's go, let's retire, let's move back to California. So I got my little notes here. I'm going to read a little bit about, the stuff that I want to talk about. Let me get back to one of the subjects here. Diversity in America. United States is a rather diverse country. 600 years ago, it wasn't very diverse. It was basically indigenous folks, doing their thing, living their existence all over the Americas. There are millions upon millions upon millions upon millions of indigenous folks. Then, of course, the Europeans came over and said, "Hey, this is nice. We're gonna take it over now." And so the Europeans came over, and then they brought slaves, and the movement, the diversity of America started to change. Okay, and of course, these people in Mexico started moving back up. They kicked them out, they moved them back up, and they started to move back to the United States, and they're having families. Yes, they're having families in los Estados Unidos. So the largest ethnic group outside of white folk are Latinos, Chicanos. Larger than black people, larger than indigenous people, larger than Asians. Okay? So a lot of Latinos in the United States now. I am now a member of the largest minority group in the United States of America. Okay. You couldn't, think of that's, actually the case. If you watch the morning talk shows, the ABC, NBC, CBS, yammering talk shows, you would think black people are the largest ethnic group. And, white people and black. In media, mostly it's black and white in the United States. Latinos, Asians, indigenous people are on the periphery. They're a small part. But in the United States of America, if you watch commercials, you watch the morning talk shows, you watch the sports shows, it's mainly black and white. One of the things a lot of people like in TransportEvolved, and I definitely understand this. I don't think the folks at TransportEvolved understand this, is that you can become, a diverse, YouTube channel, but you have to understand that America is not, everyone in America isn't just like you. They're going to say things, they're going to say, hey, you're a LGBTQ member, you're a transgender person, and you're talking about it on the air. Hey, you're talking about it, I'm going to react to it. Okay? They're reacting to you. So I typically, 98% of my videos, I just talk about RVs. I do walkthroughs. I talk about products. I talk about camping. I talk about, places I'm visiting, etc., etc. 99% of the time. As compared to TransportEvolved, they talk about EVs about 80% of the time. And they're shocked. They're shocked in those Estados Unidos, in the United States of America, that people will react to them talking about LGBTQ, transgender issues. And obviously they have a thinner skin than me. If somebody says SHIT to me, I'll be straightforward. I'll say, I'll react and tell them, hey, you know what? Blah, 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 blah. And I'll react. And that's how I am. I'm used to taking SHIT. I'm used to it. Seriously, I'm used to it. And I deal with it all the time. People say stupid stuff. That I see people saying stupid stuff all the time. I walk down the street and some person says something stupid. One of my favorite things I heard recently, it was I go to the, one of these big box stores, Lowe's, Home Depot type store, and I'm I'm thinking about buying a bathtub, and I want to buy a bathtub. I go, hey, that's steel with porcelain. That's a heavy, that's a heavy, bathtub. I got to get it home eventually. And of course, the dude working there goes, hey, just hire a Mexican. They'll do it. Hire a Mexican. They'll do it. You hear that a lot. Hire a Mexican in Texas. If it's too hot, too heavy, too dirty a job, hire a Mexican. And you see that all. You see the people working on the roofs, they're Mexicans. And you see people doing the gardening, they're Mexicans. You see people working on the road construction, they're Mexicans. Hire a Mexican. So I'm used to that. The labor in Texas is Mexican, okay? The supervisor, the person that comes to your door and knocks on the door, goes, hey, would you like a new roof? That's typically not a Mexican because you're interfacing with him. But once the job, once you've signed up for the job, everybody on the roof, all Mexicans. In the heat of summer, so we have options on YouTube, either to be more insular and understand what the audience is like. I know that when I go to camping, I see the Confederate flag, I see all kinds of insanity, the rebel flag, which is symbol to me of racism. It was only promoted as a symbol because of the anti-black movement in the South. They said, hey, let's wave this and, show our, white supremacist feelings. And that's the harsh reality of the situation. A lot of folks will say, oh, no, it's a symbol of our culture and a symbol of our, pride in the South, et cetera, et cetera. But it's a racist symbol. And a lot of people know it. And if you ask an African-American person, en los Estados Unidos, they'll tell you, hey, that sucks. We don't like that. Please take it down if at all possible. And your statues of all these Confederates, take those down too while you're at it. So in summation, I just wanted to say I appreciate my viewers. I understand politically, there's a very good chance that you are very different from me. When I go home in May to hang out with my family and my friends, there's a very good chance I'm not going to talk politics. Because when I go visit my niece, her husband's a high-tech mogul, and they're Republicans, both of them, and they're going to talk politics. They're not going to talk politics. They know better not to talk politics because they know, hey, that's Jesus. He's a lefty, and we're not a lefty. We're not to the left. We're to the right. Or which one's left? Right. We don't talk politics at the kitchen table. Thanksgiving, Christmas, we do not talk politics because I know better. I know better, and they know better. Okay. So if I can't talk politics with my family and some of my friends, I'm going to talk less about it on the good old YouTube. And I feel the folks at TransportEvolved should just personally, this is my personal opinion. I'm not telling them what to do. I'm not mansplaining. I'm not telling them anything, okay? They should understand, once you bring politics in the United States of America, you're opening up a can of worms. Just like on this show, I'm opening up a bit of can of worms, but I know that my next video is going to be about RVs. It's going to be about camping. It's going to be an install video. It's going to be about me traveling. It's going to be stuff that people relate to and find interesting. But right now they're going, Jesus, can you just shut up, please? So I appreciate you watching my channel. This has been Jesus Manuel Mena Garza, just giving you my opinion, and my opinion probably, alone. Maybe you concur. What do you think of this commentary, in my opinion, regarding TransportEvolved and what they're trying to do? They're having some issues. They're right now turning off their comments. They're turning off, they're trying to stop dealing with the public. They're saying, hey, we get all this negative stuff. We're going to discontinue hearing your comments. Thank you very much. We're just going to do our show, talk about EVs, talk about transgender LGBT stuff, and we're going to discontinue listening to your comments because it's upsetting us. Of course, me, if you put some negative comments down there, I'm just going to go, I'll just delete you. And just reacting and say, what is your problem? And then add some other selective words in addition to that. So I'm not so thin-skinned, okay? I appreciate your time. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. And ring the bell for future notifications. I would greatly appreciate it. And again, my recommendation for the folks at TransportEvolved, which I watch, I'm a regular watcher, is sort of segregate your EV stuff and maybe create another channel for your political stuff, okay? Just like I have 4 channels. One, I talk about, Jesus Manuel Mena Garza, which has very few subscribers, in which I put some of my political stuff. Then I have My Normal Life ? I have gardening stuff. I have my lawnmower review. In fact, I'm going to be doing an oil change on my riding mower, and that should be super, super, super popular. And of course, I have Jesus Manuel Mena Garza, photography, video, and audio, which I talk about photography, video, and audio. But the most popular stuff is my old stuff on RVing. That's super, super popular. And of course, this channel, RV and travel adventures. It's a lot of fun. Okay, it's a lot of fun shooting these videos. I really, really love. So we have that in common. Most of us, we love RVs. We always want that bigger and better RV. We want that fancier RV. We want that with a fantastic interior. We want to go places. We want to go to that national park. We want to go to that state park. We want to go here. We want to go there. We want to go to the beach. We want to go to the mountains. I understand. We share that in common. Politically, we may not share a lot of stuff. If we discuss politics, you might be very disappointed in what I have to say, okay? So again, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and don't forget to ring the bell for future notifications, and leave your kind and friendly and professional comments below. Abajo. Gracias. From Fort Worth, Texas. Hope you're doing fantastic. In a couple days, I'll be going to the Funtown RV, a little show over there at AT&T Stadium where the Cowboys attempt to play football. And then after that, this weekend, for about 5 days, I'm going to go camping at Lake Mineral Wells State Park. So that should be a lot of fun. Hope you're doing fantastic. From RVTA, gracias. Adios. Bye-bye.